officials have to inform their Mexican counterparts whether there was an agreement or not, urging transparency with both the American public and Mexicans, and noting that Mexican soldiers have died in the operation to capture Mr. Guzman Lopez. So this is interesting. What legitimate reasons could there be for not being transparent with the Mexican government while trying to work on a deal with family members of a captured cartel leader? The concern could be that the Mexican government is full of people compromised by the cartel, and that any transparency with them would jeopardize the operation. Is this possible? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're kind of lacking on details right now. It's also possible that this is genuinely like a pretty big breakthrough. I'm loath to give the Trump administration any credit, certainly not preemptive credit before we know what's going on, but it is an interesting development. It makes me wonder what the family members of Guzman are being offered that wasn't up on the table previously. Like what could have enticed them to speak now when they've had the opportunity, presumably, to provide information for some time now? And not just one or two of them, 17 relatives. That's a lot of people. You know? Look, I want the cartels gone, right? I want Mexico to flourish and have full control over its over its jurisdiction. You know, the cartels are factories for human misery. They fill an economic void, of course. I mean, the reason the cartels exist is because the, you know, illicit behavior they engage in, the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking. I mean, these are markets they meet. They meet them in Mexico. They meet them in America, very much in America. Now, in my humble opinion, and pardon me for the wokeness, I don't think anyone should be doing sex trafficking personally. And, you know, I believe in drug decriminalization, which would kind of gut the cartel because, of course, if the drugs were decriminalized, it would be, you know, not as sensible to run a cartel operation to get them into the United States, you know? Be a little easier to get them in a less illicit fashion. I'm very curious what this could, yeah, I'm not making any bold declaratives here, you know? I would be very surprised if the Trump administration was able to do anything even remotely effective in our, with regard to our relationship to Mexico and the cartels. Fighting the cartels has been a stated goal of basically every presidency, particularly the Trump presidencies. But usually when Republicans talk about fighting the cartels, that takes the form of them like bragging how ready they'll be to run, you know, do like bombing runs on cartel territory without Mexico's permission, which is not perhaps the way we should be treating our neighboring allies, in my humble opinion. I don't know. The security minister's confirmation came the same day that the DOJ announced new charges against men accused of being Sinaloa cartel leaders, the first since President Trump designated it a terrorist organization. Those charges include narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, and money laundering. So I want to clarify, by the way, the Sinaloa cartel and the other cartels weren't designated terrorist organizations because that is a legal designation that the government makes, which essentially allows the president to engage in military action against it, even without the permission of the nation the terrorists are in. That's how we do all the bombings we do in the Middle East without officially declaring war in those countries. Are the Houthis terrorists? Sure. Oh well, you can bomb them. You know, Hezbollah, whatever, right? It's a way of giving the president like executive authority. Congress never declares war anymore. That's for losers. That's for posers. I disagree with any military action against the cartel without the explicit permission and encouragement of the Mexican government. However, by in a non-legal sense, right? Like just colloquially, they're absolutely a terrorist organization, right? In announcing the charges, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of California, Adam Gordon, directly addressed cartel leaders in a news conference, telling them they would be, quote, betrayed by your friends and hounded by your enemies. Maybe he has access to information that we don't. You know, I mean, presumably, right? U.S. attorney, you know, works with the DOJ. One second. What's this guy's history? 1 second. Adam Gordon, not a Fox News hire, I'm hoping. Sworn in April 11th. Okay, so he got in recently. Yeah. Let me see. Adam Gordon, businessman. No, I don't think that's who we're talking about here. This is the fellow we're talking about. So he's been let in on information because he's in with the Trump administration. He's been appointed as a U.S., as a DOJ prosecutor representing a district that oversees the border. So presumably he's a Hitlerite. But, I do want the cartel members to be prosecuted. So Gordon was instrumental in creating the Fentanyl Abatement and Suppression Team in San Diego County. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. These chapitos are going to sing. We're going to learn many things. Senator Ricardo Anaya, an opposition lawmaker, told reporters this week, because the North American government doesn't offer immunity in exchange for nothing, they offer in exchange for information. Listen, okay, we'll see how this develops. It's very interesting. I really want to know what the Trump administration is promising these family members, or threatening them with, possibly, I don't know, in order to get them to talk. I mean, if you're a family member of a cartel leader and you're talking to the government, that is, listen, okay, I've seen Breaking Bad. I haven't watched The Wire yet. I'm not an expert in organized crime. I've seen most of The Sopranos. I'm just going to guess that if you are a rat to the Sinaloa cartel, usually very dangerous, right? That's a dangerous prospect. I'm just guessing, I don't know. So they've either been offered something good or threatened pretty severely. I can't believe this truck just did that. Oh, look, these are related stories. Mexico's president says she rejected Trump's plan to send U.S. troops across the border. That makes sense. I wonder if there's a relationship between these stories. Like maybe if we can't engage in direct military action against the cartels, we'll snatch up a political win by offering making an offer the Sinaloa cartel family members can't refuse. Maybe. I guess we'll see.